good morning. I tell you, it's in some ways it seems like it's been a long time since we played, and in other ways it's come around really quick again. But excited to be in game week. I know the guys are ready to play somebody in a different colored uniform, and the first game of every season is always exciting. Always, I think the guys look forward to it, and especially when you have a chance to play at home. So, having said that, can't wait till Saturday, and we'll throw it open for questions. And I feel good about Justin. I think he played a great deal a year ago, and I think he fits what we want to do. He's had a good spring camp, a good fall camp, and for that matter, so is Tim Byerly. So, I feel good about that position, being able to deliver what we want to do with the offense. I don't think it matters who you play. I think, the first game there's going to be the butterflies and the excitement and the adrenaline flowing, and you just kind of have to settle down. So, and everybody's different. But Justin's been on some pretty big stages in state championship games in high school and played here in critical times. So his demeanor is not one of real excitement and high-strung. He's more a laid-back kind of guy anyway.
Coach, you looking at Wofford, they returned some good experience on defense. Could you talk a little bit about what you see from them?
Yeah, I think they're very well coached. I mean, they've played. When I was the head coach at Georgia Southern, we had the opportunity to play them every year. They were in our league, and Mike and his staff have done a good job. Mike Ayers, so he's been there quite a while. I think that they're probably not as big as some of the guys will play, but they've got great quickness. The Odoms kid, 99, is really a good player, quick. They've got another outside linebacker that's senior, number 21. I think his name's Thomas. I'm not good with names. I'm more with numbers. But, he's a good player, and it's not like they're going to line up and not know what they're seeing, because they're very similar to what they do offensively. So, I'm sure it'll be a good test for us.
Can you compare Justin or Tim to other quarterbacks you've had over the years? Like, is there some comparison that comes to mind immediately when you think about their skill sets?
Probably not quarterbacks here. I would compare Justin a little bit to, he may be a cross between, say, Lamar Owens that played for us at Navy and Greg Hill that played at Georgia Southern. Greg was really quick. Lamar was more quick than fast. Greg was really fast too. I think Justin's a little of both. He's got a good release. I said earlier, Tim is not slow, but he's more of a run through you than a run around you guy. He reminds you a little bit of Josh Nesbitt in that way, in that very tough, hard nosed. Not afraid to put his head down and get a yard when you need it.
Well, you returned some good talent at the safety position with Jamal, Damon, and Isaiah. What has the return of Isaiah meant to that position? Well,
I think he just gives a lot of stability. I mean, he's played a lot of football. He's probably going to be rusty a little bit early in the year because he missed a year of playing. But you can't substitute all the things he's seen and all the experience he has back there. So you talk about playing and not being rattled and not being all that. Well, the more you've been thrown in the fire, the better you should be that way. I mean, the more second nature it should come to you. So hopefully he'll bring that to that position as well as Jamal. They both played a lot.
Johnson and Golden back from injury. You also got guys like Perkins and Green who may be healthy coming into a season for the first time in their careers. What does it mean to have you got some guys dinged up, but what does it mean to have everybody pretty much relatively in good health here coming into a season?
Well, I think it's crucial, and the more you play, the more it's going to be crucial, because in this day and age, I don't think there's any team out there that has unlimited depth. That there's always going to be positions that you're thin at, and keeping guys healthy is key to having a good season, no matter what you do. And if they're first-team players, they're first team for a reason. That means they're better than the guy who's backing them up. So making sure that those guys are healthy, and the more they get to play, the better you're going to be. Some of those guys, Charles Perkins came to Georgia Tech with a shoulder that most people wouldn't be playing. when they finally did the surgery on it, the team doctors didn't think he would play again. That didn't happen at Georgia Tech. That happened at high school. The same with a lot of these guys. They bring that transition, and then when you get a little higher level and the game's a little faster and a little stronger, it shows. But I think Sean and Charles both could have a great seasons if they stay healthy. I mean, Charles has had a really good camp. He looks like, I think he's back to his old self a little bit. And Charles has played a lot. If we forget a couple years ago, I mean, he started 3 or 4 games at B-back, and he's played a lot.
Another player you get back is Jamal Golden. How much does he mean to the team as far as getting the offense into good field position?
Well, Jamal's been tremendous as a return guy. Before he got hurt 2 years ago, he was really great. Last year, we only got 3 games out of him, so we really didn't have a chance. But I think he's, certainly he's a weapon as a returner. We think DeAndre Smelter's a pretty good returner too. So you got 2 guys back there that can return punts and kicks. And, one of the key things we've talked about as a team this year, and one of the matrix, we have about 5 or 6 things we're going to measure each game. And one is field position, and they can do so much to that. I think that's a real team stat, where you start field position, because it involves the defense, the special teams, the offense, and that's something that certainly he can help out a bunch. If you just get a first down every return, that's a big deal.
Can you tell us the difference between what you run and what Mike Ayers runs?
It's pretty similar. I mean, they do the same thing. What we run and what most people in college football run is pretty similar. There's a little difference. We're under the center. They're in the gun. Wofford does a little of both. Wofford would look like what we did a year ago. That's about the best way I can describe it. They're in the gun about half the time. They're under center half the time. They run in fact, they run a lot of the same plays we ran out of the gun. So, and then they try to run some of the very same plays we run under the center. So, within the framework, they've got their ways of doing it, just like we do, their change-ups and the way they do it. But the scheme of things are the same. It's just like any team who's in the gun that runs a zone read. It's the same thing. They're reading guys. If they don't close down, they hand the ball off. They do close down, they pull it, and they're just zone blocking. We zone block sometimes. Sometimes we veer block. The misnomer that on every play we try to cut guys is just ridiculous. I mean, it's like that doesn't happen. It's never happened. So, people think, oh, they just line up and go low every time they're trying to cut guys. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth.
What have you seen from Freeman to stand out and earn that starting job, and what are you expecting from these young guys?
Well, he's not starting. He's going to be the backup right now at the Chungong. But he came in early, and I think he's got a really bright future. He's got a great motor, good quicks. He's tough, and he cares. And by saying that, I mean it's important to him to be right and to do the right thing. He wants to be really good. And my experience has been guys who want to be really good, if they're truly committed, they usually end up being good, and especially if you have the ability that he has. So I think the sky's the limit for him. I think he's going to be really good.
A lot of guys talk the talk. It seems like he walks the walk.
Well, is he going to come out here and be Derek Morgan year one as a freshman? I don't think you can expect him to do that. He's going to make some mistakes, but I think he'll also make some plays. And the thing I'm saying is when he makes a mistake, he takes it to heart. I mean, it bothers him. He wants to be right. And usually those guys that are accountable like that end up being pretty good.
I'm curious regarding Mike Ayers, what kind of is your relationship like? What kind of?
Well, we've got a good relationship. I've known Mike for, like I said, I was in the Southern Conference for 5 years at Georgia Southern, and he was the head coach at Wofford. Before that, I knew Mike when he was at East Tennessee State. He was the defensive coordinator there for a while, and actually the head coach at East Tennessee State. So, I've known Mike for a long time. We've never really got to sit down and talk football and share ideas, simply because even when I left Georgia Southern, I had proteges there for the first little bit that had coached with me, so we weren't giving them, they were still in the league with Wofford. This is probably the first time now that we could actually sit down and talk, and we find ourselves playing each other. But, after this, like I said, I've got a great deal of respect to Wade Lang, who's the offensive coordinator there. I mean, Wade's been there from a player to a coach. He's probably been there 20 years. And they do a good job. I mean, all you have to do is watch the tape to see that they do a good job. They know what they're doing.